Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler review series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie, we might be getting a little bit nerdy with this one, but we'll get into that. Folks, super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am in my back room today, which means you get the Peter Cannon Thunderbolt poster right there. Ah, I love that Peter Cannon Thunderbolt poster. It was a thing, like, it was just a little bit of a story. This was actually like a promo picture. The character of Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, he's been through like various publishers and stuff. And for a little while, DC had a hold of him, and they didn't do a lot. They just did kind of a mini-series thing with him. But that was the promo poster that they had available for that run. And I own the comics, and I saw the promo poster as like a thing. I was like, I wonder if that's still a thing. I looked it up on eBay. There was one for sale for 20 bucks. But anyway, aside from all that, folks, what else am I doing? Well, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight super cool shirt. So what super cool shirt am I wearing today? Well, it kind of ties in with my nerdy theme. Boom! It's my Sega Dreamcast shirt. I love the Sega Dreamcast. If you're unfamiliar with what the Sega Dreamcast was, well, get yourself knowledged up, folks. Sega Dreamcast was a home video game system from the company Sega. It was their last one before they finally just pulled out of the home console market entirely. It was a fantastic system that just, oh man, it kind of came along, not the best time, it just kind of the tail end of the 32-bit, and then it tried to kind of, and then the PS2 came out, and the PS2 was just like, I'm going to dominate everything. And unfortunately, Sega just couldn't hold out. Despite the Sega Dreamcast still being a great system, a lot of people who played it are still very fond of it, like myself. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? Why is it nerdy? What are we doing here? Well, this one comes via a friend request. Not just a fan, but a friend. Because we're reviewing, boom! It is the Gelatinous Cube Ooze Blue Burst Flavored Soda Dungeons & Dragons. Yes. So it's a Dungeons & Dragons novelty soda. If you're not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, I don't know how you could be, but maybe you're not. It's a little pen and paper game that you go over there. There's like rule books and you create characters and it's a whole thing. And the Gelatinous Cube is one of the enemies. It's like a famous enemy within, within the Dungeons and Dragons lore. And so you got the cool little design on the back. Can I get a thing for the thing? Can I get a thing? Ha 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 ha! Yeah. Can I get a thing? Ha 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 ha! But yes, and this review comes via request of my friend, or suggestion, I suppose, my friend Mike Rutledge, who is an incredible guy. I've known him for a number of years now. Originally met him, he was a bassist in a band called Soulshare that I still fucking love to this day. And this is actually befitting because at one point in time, I actually went over to his house and played some D&D with him and his daughter, and it was a super fun time. But he hit me up and he was like, hey, dude. And I was like, yeah, that's a thing I'll review. So let's give it a go. Thank you again, Mike. Love you, buddy. He watches my show sometimes. Like, it's amazing to me that such cool people watch my show. Because it's like, I think my show is just kind of ridiculous and silly, but then it's like awesome people watch it. Thank you. I love you all so much. All right. It's got a bit of a smell to it. Kind of a, I don't know, maybe it's a berry? Give it a go. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I was expecting this to just be honestly really weak because a lot of times with these novelty things, like you're just paying for the branding. And I did pay a bit for this too. I think it was like about $6 for one can. So, but um, but no, it's actually honestly a pretty nice soda. Like the closest thing I could think of off the top of my head that it reminds me a little bit of. It's kind of like a berry cream soda, but hmm, yeah, it's actually like it's not. It doesn't have weak flavor. It doesn't taste watered down. It actually has a little bit of a bite to it. Like the carbonation on it's good. It's actually honestly a pretty nice soda. Like I'm actually really down with this. I was kind of again just expecting it to be a bit of a cash grab thing, but yeah, I'm gonna say it's kind of a berry-ish cream soda. Um, the when I call it a berry, it's like sort of a general fruit flavor. It's not like punching at me, screaming berry, but that's the closest thing I could think of. The berry flavor is nice, and you know, it works well. It's blended well, like with the more sort of cream soda ish aspect. And then it's got, like I said, it's got a little bit of a bite to it, and then it's got kind of a little bit of sort of a, again, kind of a cream soda kind of smoothness at the end a little bit. This is actually really good. Like, flat out. I mean, I don't know if this is based off of another soda. I'll actually look into that at some point. But yeah, I mean, this should have been kind of crappy and just, basically fun to keep the can. But no, actually, I like this quite a bit. Like, this is actually a soda that I would just drink for the sake of drinking if it didn't cost $6 a can. Yeah. Like, there's no weird aftertaste or anything. It's just tasty. It's just kind of a fruity, sort of cream soda sort of thing. And like I said, it's blended nicely. It drinks well, and it's actually got good flavor. I am genuinely surprised at how good this is. Like I was not, wasn't expecting it to be this good. But I actually really like the way that it drinks too, because like I prefer sodas that have again that little bit of an edge to them. I like them to have a little bit of a bite. And to be fair, I like smoother sodas too, but I like soda that kind of fights its way down. If that makes any sense. And this definitely does that. I like it a lot. It's sweet. I could see it being a bit too sweet for some people. I think even for myself personally, this is one of those things where like, I mean, you shouldn't go over there and down a bunch of cans of soda in a row anyway. But I think for me, this would be like a probably a one a day kind of soda thing, or maybe even one every couple days, because it does have that sweetness to it. It could be a little bit much if you did them too close together. I really like that though. Two questions have to be asked, I guess. I mean, it would have to be, but for my show they do. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? So here's the thing with this. Again, it's a novelty thing, and it's ultimately the branding and everything that you're paying for. It's good. I like it. Is it $6 a can good? Fuck no. It's not. I got this from, I think it was an FYE, which FYE, they used to be more of a media store, but as physical media started to kind of phase out, they sort of, excuse me, become more of a kind of import kind of store, nerdy anime and what have you kind of store. Um, yeah, it's not $6 a can good. If I could find the equivalent and it was like normally priced like soda, I would actually get it again. I think it's really tasty. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be like a go-to soda for me, but it would definitely would be one where it would be like I specifically want that soda sometimes. Like there's genuinely something kind of special about it. I like it quite a bit. So I would get it again if I wasn't paying $6 a can for it. If I'm recommending it to people, it's by that same logic. If you go to an FYE or whatever and they have some of these still available, if you want to plop down $6 for it, it's a pretty good soda. It's not $6 good, but if you just want to do a one-off thing, by that same token, it's nothing you have to grab. I do think this is kind of part of what you're paying for is just it's got a cool can design. It's the gelatinous cube and stuff. If you're a D&D nerd, it's a fun product, and it has the benefit of also tasting good. So, yeah. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there and have yourselves a truly Dungeons and Dragons tastic rest of your life. Say what you want, and people will make their fun. Dungeons and Dragons has been around, I think, at least since the 80s, I want to say. And I mean, what? It's like a multi-million-dollar empire? It does what it wants, folks. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and bullshit. And, we're not always fortunate enough where we have easy access to the awesome people in our lives. Sometimes we end up a little bit isolated. And that can make things extra difficult. And when we deal with situations those situations in our lives, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I would like you to do. Hopefully, you're in a good position where you do have those people in your life where you can go over there and, you can connect with them, and it doesn't even have to be a constant thing, Like I said, with my friend Mike, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen each other, Hopefully we'll get the opportunity to get together at some point. But we still stay connected through, Facebook and stuff like that. It's important to maintain those connections. Far too often in life, I talk with people who I'm like, hey, how's so-and-so doing? Oh, well, we haven't talked in a while and blah, 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 and at this point it's been such a long time. Fuck that. Seriously, fuck that. I can all but guarantee you the other person is thinking the same thing on the other side of that. That has been almost unanimously, and I'm not saying it's all the time, but that's been almost unanimously, the case that when I've talked with these people. And, don't let that happen if you can, be the person. And yeah, sometimes it can be frustrating, because sometimes it does feel like you're, just putting in that extra effort. But it's important, because if these people matter to you, if they're important people in your life, it's a thing. And I personally am extremely fortunate where I have an incredible wellspring of awesome people who have helped me and supported me over the years. Thank you again, Mike. You're an awesome dude. I thoroughly enjoyed playing D&D with you and your daughter. Hopefully we'll get together and do it sometime real soon. Anyway, folks, and hey, maybe play some D&D. If you want any pointers or tips, I can go over there and try to pretend like I've played D&D in the last, almost 10 years. Bye!